Alrighty, here we are back for round one. We're on the draw and our opener's pretty sad. So we're gonna go ahead and mulligan. And we'll keep this hand. We have a turn to Wayfinder into maybe Nemesis? We'll see. Opponent also mulliganed. This hand looks decent. I think with this hand I want to leave the palace over the temple. I kind of like holding my temples till a little bit later, usually. Especially if I have something else to cast, yeah. There's not many bad things I can draw. Like, everything in my deck is 4 mana or less. Like, I don't count this as a 6 mana spell, so. Commune, so we might be against a black-green enchantment. And it looks like we are. This matchup is fine for me. Their deck is really slow and not aggressive at all. Our deck, on the other hand, is very aggressive. Unfortunately, we don't have a Doomwake main, so we don't have a way to deal with Hornet Queens when they get whipped back. I'm just gonna play a Wayfinder. Alright. Bend 2 creatures in a commune. Let's go ahead and pop out our graveyard over here. Probably want to see our opponent's graveyard also. So our Nemesis is huge right now. I mean, not Nemesis. Night Howler is huge. Another Wayfinder. So right now this costs 4. Alright, so let's lead with an attack. Yeah, I doubted my opponent was going to block. He might be play Doomwake Giant next turn. That might be a little bit problematic. I think we just want a Wayfinder. And I'll take a Palace. And just play the Palace tapped. Yeah, Doomwake Giant can be problematic. A Whip would be problematic. Because we don't really have a way to get through like the Hornet Queen tokens at the moment. There's no Thassa, and our Doomwake's in the side. Something I was considering is adding a Doomwake to the main for situations where Hornet Queen has played main. But I did not make that transition yet. And there's the Whip. So that means Hornet Queen is incoming next turn. But a nice to draw something like our one of Reclamation Stage to kill that. So what we could do instead is get in a huge chunk of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can hit him down to 10, but he's whipping back Hornet Queen next turn. And alternatively, we can play Nemesis Immortals and another Wayfinder. I think I like smashing here because we can might be able to draw Thassa and make our guy unblockable, so let's go with that plan. All our creatures. Pass the turn. So I guess our opponent might have a tap land in hand because they didn't hit one off this Wayfinder. Oh, I guess they hit a height, so go ahead and fetch out a forest. Whip back Hornet Queen, I suspect. I didn't think there's no Doom Wakes. There's no reason to whip back a Courser or Eidolon here. So it just has to be Hornet Queen, especially since it can just block. The tokens can just block here and provide my opponent time. So yeah, post sideboard, this matchup gets a lot better with the addition of Doomwake. Because the only finisher this deck has is Hornet Queen. It doesn't have any other finishers like Doomwake Giant. They have a Doomwake Giant, but like that's not a finisher. It's all about like killing in there with Hornet Queen, and our Doomwakes just wreck that plan. So they decided not to whip, so they might be casting Hornet Queen next turn. Let's start off with smashing with our Wayfinder. I don't think there's really a point to attack with this other one because he'll just chump block here. But there's a reason to just go in here. Yeah, the only reason I can think my opponent didn't whip back a Hornet Queen is because my opponent wants to play a Hornet Queen next turn. So here, I think I like Wayfinder into Nemesis? Or maybe we should go wide with Sidisi. Actually, I think it might be better here to go wide. Because like I said, Hornet Queen is just an issue. So we need to get our token count up. This plan is utterly wrecked if my opponent has Doomwake Giant and can trigger it twice in a turn, but until that happens. I guess my opponent can like Murderous Cut here in response before the trigger resolves. Maybe that's what my opponent was holding, but that still seems pretty bad. I don't see a reason not to whip if you're like on the Murderous Cut plane. Because I guess they had Orb Work, so they could have still whipped Hornet Queen and cast Murderous Cut if that's what this line is. But there's a lot of assumptions. Okay, so they let the first trigger resolve, so I'm getting my token here. A whip, come in, alright. Temple after. I didn't temple before because if I'm playing Sidisi, if I want to keep the card on top, I'm not playing Sidisi, so I guess that might be a reason to actually keep it on top. Not sure. We'll definitely bottom the land. As I was saying during the deck tech, once this deck hits 4 lands, you really don't want to draw any more. Like we have 5 in play, that's more than enough. Everything in the deck can be cast off 4 lands. Like I said, once again, ignore the mana cost of Nemesis Immortals. Its average mana cost in this deck is 2. Like all that is just usually reduced, and usually the monstrosity is usually 2 also, for the most part. So this, oh, a soul. Yeah, that's actually a lot better than Hornet Queen, to be honest. Cause like this could happen. So I'm actually very happy my opponent cast Soul. So I think it's Murderous Cut. My opponent's at 9. He has to block here. He takes 5. So is there any way I can hit for more damage? I don't believe so. But yeah, Alright, let's delve away a commune, a coast. I can get the whip back with a Nyx Weaver. But I think I want to play 2 spells this turn. So I'm actually going to hit the whip here. And I guess last turn I didn't have to pay. I paid black mana for CDC, but my opponent had Tomb, so like I didn't have to pay. So I lost a life for no reason there. See how this attack results. He's obviously blocking the 12-12. I'm sorry, 13-13 now. Because I mean otherwise. What? I guess my opponent could have Murderous Cut. Murderous Cut's the last card my opponent has. Sure. I mean, Murderous Cutting leaves my Night Howler behind, and that means my opponent's on 0 cards. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with this. So they're at 7. So we want to get the most creatures in play, because Hornet Queen's coming in next turn. He'll be able to whip it back, go to 9. So yeah, let's lead off with this Wayfinder. We'll take a swamp. And then we'll play this guy for double green and play the swamp. So 17-17 Night Howler. Thassa would be a beating. Thassa would just win on the spot here. So my opponent can flashback Soul, but that doesn't do anything. I think the play is just whip back Hornet Queen, unless my opponent draws a Hornet Queen this turn. Like casting something like Doomwake Giant won't do anything here. Would have to be 2 spells. I guess Doomwake Giant whip back Eidolon would be pretty disgusting, but this seems like it's just Hornet Queen. Sure. So my opponent's going to go to 9 and have 4 blockers, and I have a bunch of attackers that my opponent really has to block. Let me close the screen here. It's exiled. Guess he can whip back Soul next turn and gain a bunch of life. So we have right now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. My opponent has 5 blockers. Night Howler trades with an insect. Nemesis trades with an insect. Sidisi's chains with an insect. And I guess the zombie trades with insects. So my opponent gains 4 life. And I get through for 2, 3, 4 damage. That doesn't seem that great. Didn't even want to attack with it. I don't have any flyers in play. And it's not like I'm blocking the Death Touch anyway. So that was just 2 life my opponent missed. And now my opponent disconnected from the game. So maybe it's one of those shame disconnects. Make a bad play. Then you gotta just unplug the computer. You just have to be done playing Magic. I know that feeling. So let's see, what are some really good draws here? I bend my other 2 Night Howlers. I'm only running 3. So that's not an option. I guess a Reclamation Sage to destroy the whip would be fine, because next time he can gain a lot of life. But I guess he's blocking with these insect tokens this turn. So like the Soul play doesn't really work. Excuse me. Thassa would not win me the game, unfortunately. Oh no, Thassa would definitely win me the game. I could play Thassa and activate it on the Night Howler. I was trying to figure out how much her activated ability costs. This 2 mana, so 5 mana total will get me Thassa for the win. That's about it, like, I guess drawing a follow-up Sidisi or follow-up Nemesis Immortals could be fine. I can also Nyx Weaver something back. Nothing really evasive though. I'm just assuming I'm gonna just like trade my good cards for my opponents for insects, and then we just have to hope my opponent doesn't top deck well. Soul can gain opponent 6 life. That might be enough to stabilize. We'll see. Murderous Cut. So now I can Murderous Cut whatever blocks the Night Howler. Yeah, I think we just jam with team. Or maybe I Murderous Cut whatever blocks the Sidisi. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if he draws Doomwake, he can't whip back Ion, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So let's first jam. See what we've been here. Nemesis and 2 land. Sure. So, I guess the question here is, do we want the big stupid Dirtle to live, or do we want this to live? I guess I could actually, like, Nyx Weaver back my Sidisi if I needed, so maybe I just want this thing to live. Or maybe I just want to keep the Sidisi. I think it's pretty close. Well, actually, no, it's not close, because I definitely want to keep the Sidisi in play. Because, like I said, we're going wide here. So yeah, we'll Murderous Cut there. I guess a Commune. So my opponent's at 6 now. I still have a Sidisi in play. Let's go ahead and play Wayfinder, paying the correct mana. Okay, Temples to draw there. Let's play the Temple before we play Nyx Weaver. If we have like a Thassa on top, we don't want to bin it. We will bottom that. I guess it won't matter, because we'll have Nyx Weaver in place, so if we bin Thassa, we can just bring her back anyway, with Nyx Weaver's ability. I think this card is like really, really good in this deck. So if my opponent doesn't draw anything good, he can whip back and gain 6 life. But, like, that's fine. Oh, she's gonna just go for the card draw. I don't know what this line gives my opponent. I'm not sure this line is better than just trying to gain 6. Like, I can't think of any card that he can draw that costs 4 or 5 mana that does anything. Like I said, Doomwake only has 1 trigger. So wasn't really worried about Doomwake there. So we won game 1. I think that's the toughest part of this matchup. It's just win game 1 through Hornet Queen. So I definitely want the Doomwake Giants to deal with that. I also want the Sages. Don't want the... Well, we might want the Bile Blights also. I think we want this Land World Waste and possibly our 3rd Whip of Erebos, but that's questionable. I like taking out... What should we take out? Definitely cutting the Dev Dealers. Dev Dealers usually get cut in almost every matchup. I guess this is the best 2-drop we can play in these colors that we don't already have in our deck, which is kind of sad to say. Um, Honestly, I don't think Courser's that good in this matchup. I think we want to cut maybe like 2 communes. Wayfinder. Maybe a Courser. And like a Nemesis and something. I'm not 100% like sure on my sideboarding plans. How many sages do we actually want here? Maybe I just go down. Maybe I play no communes because we don't really want to bend the Bile-Blights. Maybe instead of playing communes, the only creatures that I really want is like something like Doomwake. Maybe we just want to play this Nemesis instead. I think I'm gonna try this.